Hey there and welcome. My name's Lockie and I'm a Microsoft Technical Trainer. Good to have you here. In this video series, we're going to be looking at some of the monitoring tools that are available to you in Azure to ensure that your network environment is running in a performative and expected manner. There's two main things that we will be investigating. One will be the broad Azure Monitor ecosystem. There's a few key parts of it that are actually perfect for understanding how your Azure environment is functioning from that network lens. We're also going to look at a number of troubleshooting tools in the Network Watcher toolset. Each one of these has a slightly different purpose, but they all hold a really important place in the diagnostic tool belt of the things that you need as an engineer. So we'll dive straight in and have a look at the two together. Up ahead, we're going to be looking at Azure Monitor. Now, the Monitor ecosystem is much larger than just us in the network space, but I feel it's useful to really call out where it is useful for a network administrator or someone who is utilizing the Azure network stack and how you can be sure that you're going to get the details that you need to find out if stuff is working performatively and in the way that you're expecting. We're going to begin with a little bit of an overview of Azure Monitor at the whole. It's important to understand the data types that it can ingest, how it stores that data, and a few different capabilities at the other end. And then we're going to be looking specifically at the Network Insight stack. This is going to be the big focus because this is tooling that is designed to assist someone specifically focused on the networking lens of data stores. So let's begin with a little bit of an overview. Azure Monitor is an ecosystem that leverages a data store called a Log Analytics workspace. Log Analytics workspaces take data sources from a whole range of different locations and feeds them in one of two forms. Say two, there's a few more, but it's going to either be metrics, numbers over time that tell us CPU performance or maybe network bandwidth, things that we can measure on a graph to show quick performance and make quick alerts and changes to an environment automatically. The other type of data that we get through is in the form of a log. Logs typically come through with much more verbose information, a lot more words attached to it. A timestamp with a description and an error code and all of this other information that is not necessarily easy to make an instantaneous alert from, but is extremely useful when we're trying to understand why a firewall blocked a particular piece of traffic, or maybe why an NVA is behaving in the way that it is. We can also additionally store things like traces as part of this, things that you would get from a network packet capture. So if you are utilizing any tracing tools, these can also be stored within the network space there. On the other side of Azure Monitor, the ecosystem expands into a wide array of tool sets that are designed to help you, whoever you are, find the data you need to find out why something is working well or where it can see improvement. Primarily in the network space, we're looking at two things. The metric analysis as part of the analysis toolset is designed to help you look at any network component in an environment and see why it's behaving the way it is. Over time, what its performance looks like. And the other one is in the insights space. Network Insights is a toolkit designed to help those with a network lens see everything they need to know about an environment. Let's begin with the Metrics Explorer, because this is a fairly simple one that's accessible to you right now. On any Azure resource, you can go into the resource itself and hit this metrics button that is on the left-hand blade. Once you do that, you'll be presented with this metrics view. You'll be able to view data about how things have performed, and the data changes based on the particular thing that you're collating. So a network interface card will collate different data than a virtual network would. But the key thing is that it is designed to help you in time-stamped format understand exactly how something is performing. So look at the metrics insights when you're trying to get key information or graphs about general performance. This Metrics Explorer can also be useful for creating dashboards and trying to understand and get general perspectives where you can at a glance know the performance of your network on the whole. Now for deeper insights, we look away from metrics and we begin to turn our sight towards more logging capabilities. But I like to do that in the form of the Network Insights stack. Now I've taken an image here simply because I wanted to give you something that is pre-populated with lots of things within it. We can see connections around VPN, ExpressRoute. We can see different virtual machines and the network interface cards that they carry, different load balancing options. This is the single pane of glass to understand the health, the metrics, the connectivity, the traffic workflows, and to gain access to a whole range of different diagnostic toolkits all in one spot. To find this in your environment, head to Azure Monitor, look down on the blade on the left, and look for the Network Insights tab. This is your home away from home anytime you're in Azure and you want to know exactly how something is working. We're going to look at Azure Network Watcher, a series of tools that are available to you right now for troubleshooting and understanding how things in your environment are performing. Now, there is a lot in the Network Watcher toolset. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on each one of these. Much of this is just about getting used to what's in the toolkit and what's there. And that's going to be my key focus, letting you know what is available in each one of these, and so you have exactly what you need at the moment you need it. So, I'm going to go with an overview first, give you a rough rundown of my favorite tools, and then we'll go through them one by one, so you can use them when you need them. Network Watcher is available in the Azure portal right now. Just go search for Network Watcher and you'll find it. And on the left-hand side of it, in the blade there, you will see all of the different tools that are available to you. Common ones that people make use of would be something like IPflow Verify, trying to get general diagnostic tools, or my favorite one, Topology, which will be the first one I show you. The topological view just gives you how things are connected, shows you a diagram of exactly what virtual networks are connected together and how things are interconnected. It's extremely useful, and there's a whole range of really useful things in here. There is one I do want to call out early though. NSG flow logs. As a network engineer, you may get a request from your security team to turn these on. Not a problem at all. They're extremely useful for you from a diagnostic perspective, but they're extremely useful to those who are trying to understand how things are flowing in our environment and where traffic is going as well. So, if you do need to turn them on, I'll show you how to do that as well. All right, let's begin with topology. I love this one, and so I want to show it to you early. This is an export of the topological view. Now, it's going through a revamp at the moment, so there is a new version coming, which is really lovely. So, if you see that one, jump into there. What I've done is taken a snapshot here though, and this is something that I actually provided as part of an architecture. You can see the different front ends and the naming conventions. Don't stress too much about it. The point here is that this is a two-click export. Head into topology, that's your first click, and second one at the top, export. This will get you a file that you can drop in an as-built document in an architecture like that. This has been an absolute useful piece of tooling for me, simply to be able to have something that represents a virtual network that I've built out in a prototype, or to be able to pass along to someone the structure of something that I've built. Look to it and see what's there. It's also got some diagnostic use because it shows that interconnectedness of all of your network resources, but highly recommend taking a look at the network topology view there. Next tool off the rank, the Connection Monitor. Connection Monitor's gone through a few evolutions over the year, but the current version is super useful for a whole range of different purposes. One thing that I had a customer using it for was for live testing the exact performance between something that was running on premises and a specific application in the cloud. We were trying to test not just the latency of the link between A and B, but every hop along the way, and see if there was anything that we could do to improve that ping. Connection Monitor is designed for any sort of end-to-end connection where one of those ends is somewhere in Azure. Do note though, the endpoints up the top here. They don't have to be in Azure. Using this to test things like latency to Office 365 for virtual desktop infrastructure, Nice and easy to be able to do something like that. So take a look at Connection Monitor for anywhere where you, well, need to monitor a connection. It's right there in the name. The next tool is pure troubleshooting. IP Flow Verify is just a, can I get a packet from A to B? That's it. Sometimes the tools that we need are very simple. Whether it be TCP or UDP, whether it be inbound or outbound, simply provide 2 IP addresses, 2 ports, and give us a point somewhere in the network, a virtual machine somewhere in there, and we can just check to see that it would work. That's it. Nothing much more to it. You'll find that there is a range of tools that kind of occupy this space as well. For example, NSG Diagnostics performs much of the same sort of task, but what it's specifically checking is not whether it's allowed or denied, it's specifically checking if there is a network security group that is affecting the flow of traffic between these 2 endpoints. So a very similar process to IP Flow Verify, but with a little bit of a different intent. Even the next tool I'm going to show, which is NextHop, is the same sort of thing, checking from A to B if I can get there. But what it's trying to help you diagnose is routing issues. So looking at a route table and understanding if I need to go from one IP to another, what's my next hop? And you continue to follow those hops along to see if you're getting asymmetrical routing issues or if you're getting blocked somewhere along the way and the traffic's being dropped. All of those tools, NextHop and the various IP flow verification processes, are all about trying to diagnose where something is occurring in an environment and getting you right down to the point where you need it. The key thing is that you do not need to remote into a virtual machine to do any of these diagnostics. You can do them fully from the Azure portal. So super simple to use, and it is designed to be easy for any network administrator that needs access. All right, a little bit of a different tact now. Effective security rules are not something that every customer is going to require, but there are many scenarios where you may have placed a network security group on both the subnet and on the network interface card level. If this is something that your organization is doing, or you're finding places where this occurs, effective security rules simply grabs the network security groups from both of these locations and it combines them together. It lets you know, as it says right on the tin, the effective security rules. This is a great way to just double check that NSGs are working in the way you're expecting and that something isn't behaving in a way that's not ideal. Next, don't forget about the VPN troubleshoot. If you are spinning up a VPN connection in Azure, this is a really useful thing to just make sure it's working right. You can easily go through, point it at a storage account, and it will dump different types of logs and different types of information about a gateway that is in Azure and just let you know how it's performing. So if that's what you need and you're trying to test out the connection of your VPN, look to that troubleshooter there. Now, for those that want to go down into the weeds, my goodness, have I got that for you. We do support packet capture in Azure, and you can actually do this natively by pointing at any virtual machine in an environment and simply grabbing those details there. This will return to you a native PCAP file, which you can easily take into your open source analysis tool of choice, and it is all there ready to go. Great ability to do filtering as well, so you don't capture the stuff you don't need. All in place, easy to spin up. NSG flow logs was something I promised I'd talk about a little bit more in depth at the beginning because you might not be the only person who requests this. Every time data passes from one side of a network security group to another, whether it was allowed or denied, a little ping happens. And if you choose to log it, you can create a log of every single time that anything passes through a network security group. You can see why these would be useful for the security team, but there's many valid reasons that a network administrator would also want this. It'll tell you whether rules are being applied correctly, who's coming from where, what IPs we're seeing, the whole shebang. Extremely useful. And this one is the last kind of big piece. This is the thing that brings it all together. If you're looking for not so much a diagnostic analysis pane of glass, but you're looking for a general analytics pane of glass, what regions you're operating in, network traffic speed, the whole lot of that, look to the analytics page. Traffic analytics is designed to integrate with other Network Watcher components to give you the details you need between any hosts and show how things are flowing in an environment. If what you need is just that general overview, this is an extremely good geographical and security and topological focus that is looking at how your environment fits together. Now, to show the very last thing that I want to, we're going to jump into the portal and we're going to take a quick look at the connection troubleshooting tool. Connection troubleshoot is the last of the tools that I'm going to show. And the main reason I want to show it as the last thing is because it incorporates a huge number of other Network Watcher toolkits all in one. What I've got right now is a virtual machine in a little test network that I've spun up. And what I want to do is just see exactly how it reaches out to Microsoft.com. Can it get there? We can see that I've selected an IPv4 and a TCP check. We're going to look at port 443, so that's where we're reaching out to. But look at the diagnostic tests that we've selected. We're looking at different connectivity options, next hop, and even a port scanner to see what is available. I can hit run diagnostic test there, and on any one point in a network on a virtual machine, I can get a huge amount of diagnostic information back all at once. If you don't know what test you need to use, but you're confident that something is wrong, this is a great way to be able to run multiple tests at once and get a full return back. So consider where this could be the right option for you and where it'll be useful.